Let's have a conversation about how to join Navy Fed without being military. So, NFCU is actually the world's number one credit union. A lot of people are really interested in becoming members, right? But you got to be affiliated with the military to actually be a member. So, in today's conversation, I want to break down for you how to really join Navy Fed if you are not military. So, let's talk about eligibility first. So, who is eligible for membership? Because a lot of people have are a little confused when it comes to the exact criteria that you have to really meet to qualify for a membership. So eligibility actually depends on a few variables, okay? But everything has to be tied to the military, to the armed forces. So veterans, retired service members, and active duty in all branches of the armed forces of the United States are actually eligible for membership. So that's actually the general definition you have to really keep in mind when you think about eligibility in terms of NFCU membership. So when I speak about being affiliated with the military, this includes what? It includes active duty members of the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, and National Guard. A lot of folks don't know that National Guard is part of the Army, by the way. Okay, so that's the first criteria. You have delayed entry program candidates. So if you are a DEP candidate, you can actually qualify for membership, not a problem. If you are a DoD officer candidate, like Department of Defense or ROTC, you can also qualify. If you are a DoD reservist, you can qualify. And finally, veterans, retirees, and annuitants are also really are eligible. Okay, I'm going to put this on the screen so it's pretty clear for everybody when it comes to the general eligibility for a membership. Now, the thing is that when you think about Navy Fed's field of membership, that field also covers DoD civilian personnel. So if you're not military, but you are civilian personnel, you can qualify. So, but you got to be a civilian. You got to be a civilian personnel. Let's say a staff member who supports the armed forces. So here I'm speaking about DoD civilian employees, U.S. government employees assigned to DoD installations, DoD contractors assigned to U.S. government installations, and also DoD civilian retirees and annuitants. Okay, so that's really important. So that's actually the broad, the broad, the broad area of membership eligibility criteria. Now, eligibility also extends to certain family members of those who meet this criteria, right? I'll talk about that I'll talk about this in the next section. So, if you're thinking about joining Navy Fed without being military, I just give you, let's say, the broad canvas of criteria you need to really you need to meet, right? Now, if you can join Navy Fed if you're not in the military, because what happens here is that NFCU will approve you if you are an immediate family member. So immediate family members and household members, including roommates. That's kind of cool. I mean, roommates too. Okay, so roommates of current and retired members of the armed forces, DoD personnel, and current Navy Fed members are eligible to join. I want to insist on roommates because a lot of people think, well, if I'm not family, if I'm not biologically related to somebody, I can really join Navy Fed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you are a household member of current and retired members of the armed forces, you qualify. Now, immediate family includes parents, so you have parents, you have grandparents, you have spouses, so that's pretty good. You have siblings, you have children, including adopted and stepchildren. So you don't have to. It doesn't have to be biological children necessarily. If you have adopted children, you can qualify too, and also grandchildren. Okay. Now, when I talk about family members, basically you are speaking about parents, you are speaking about grandparents. So the immediate, okay, the immediate. That's important to think about that. So the immediate the immediate parents and grandparents can qualify for membership. What I want to say here is that geography doesn't always play a role if you are like direct family, like immediate family. Now, if you are speaking about roommates, if you want to really join Navy Fed based on you're sharing the same household as someone, then geography plays an important role. But normally, if you want to go with a biological family, geography is not going to be critical. Now, one thing I want to say here is that you always want to call Navy Fed when in doubt. You want to call Navy Fed because they have a customer service number that can actually answer all questions. They'll let you know ASAP if you can qualify or not. So that's kind of cool. If you want to join Navy Fed without being military, you really could do so if you are a DoD civilian. So here I'm speaking about Department of Defense civilian. Now, one thing I want to say here is that here the focus is not on the number of years. So Navy Fed doesn't have a certain number of years that you have to be a DoD civilian to actually qualify. So if you are hired tomorrow as a DoD civilian and you are in good standing with the armed forces, whatever agency that's employing you, you can qualify for membership. Okay, so because some other credit unions want you to be working for a company for 6 months, for 3 months, for 1 year before you can qualify. Okay, but Navy Fed doesn't have that. They don't have that restriction. So when I speak about DoD civilian personnel, I'm actually talking about. I think I've said this before, but I want to reiterate it here so it's pretty clear to everybody. So you have a DoD civilian employee. So if you are a DoD civilian employee, you can qualify for membership. You don't have to be military to actually join Navy Fed in that capacity. If you are a U.S. government employee assigned to DoD installations, so you don't have to be working for DoD precisely, but if you work for a U.S. government agency and you are assigned to a military base or any kind of installation, you can qualify. Okay, even if you're working in terms of in the back office, quote unquote back office, like in a support capacity, you can still qualify. If you are a DoD contractor assigned to U.S. government installations, you can qualify. By the way, when I'm saying U.S. government installation, it doesn't have to be in the states only. So if you are overseas, let's say you are in Iraq or you are in Afghanistan, to just take a few examples, you can qualify. So if you are assigned to U.S. government overseas, by the way, when I say U.S. government, it can also be the like embassies or consulates. Okay, as long as it is a U.S. government installation, you can qualify. So it doesn't have to be a DoD installation per se. But this is only if you are a DoD contractor. Okay. And finally, if you are a DoD civilian retiree, so if you are a retiree or annuitant, you can qualify for a membership within NFCU. If you want to join Navy Fed without being military, you also want to know more about minor membership. So if you have kids, if you have let's say minor relatives, for instance, you are able to actually you can sign them up into Navy Fed, not a problem. Okay, so if you are an existing member and a parent, grandparent, or guardian of a minor, you can sign in and share the gift of membership using NFCU's online minor membership application. So they have a specific steps, a specific series of steps you need to follow if you have a minor. So minor means that the person is under 18. Okay, the person hasn't reached majority yet. Okay, so minor membership is open to two categories. So you have children and you have grandchildren. Again, when I speak about children, it can be adopted children, it can be stepchildren, it can be biological children. Okay, so you do have three categories. All categories of children are accepted, not a problem. NFCU doesn't have any discrimination on that front. So children and grandchildren. Now, what information do you need to provide to show that you are eligible for a membership through a relative or household member? If you remember earlier, I told you that you basically, if you are somebody's household, like if you are somebody's roommate, you can qualify for membership. So that's kind of cool too. Okay, so if you want to really claim membership capacity on that front, what info do you need to provide? Well, the thing is that if you want to, in addition to the personal information you need to supply for yourself, you also need to provide the following details about your sponsoring member, because if you want to join that way, you are going to talk about a sponsoring member. somebody is sponsoring you. So you got to put the person's last name, the person's access number or last four digits of their social security number, and their date of birth, and their relation or relationship to you. Okay, it can be your spouse, it can be your grandfather, it can be anything else. Now, if you are you eligible for a membership if the veteran or service member in your family is deceased? Hell yeah, hell yeah. And Navy Fed is pretty clear about that. Hell yeah, the benefits extend to you even after they passed away. So you're still eligible for membership. Keep in mind, you may need to submit documentation like a DD 214 form proving your deceased member would have been eligible for membership. Okay. And you can also invite family or friends to join Navy Fed. Not a problem. There is a membership referral page that you can really you can use to actually invite people to come over into Navy Fed. So if you want to join Navy Fed without being military, let's talk about the steps here. Let's talk about getting started. Okay, how do you really kick off the process? So first of all, I want to insist on the fact that Navy Fed is the world's number one credit union. Wonderful, wonderful institution, great institution. They have a lot of services, a lot of loans, loan opportunities, credit card opportunities, a lot of investment opportunities. Okay, so the cool thing is that Navy Fed does have a value of membership page where you can really see everything that you need to learn about the benefits of joining NFCU. They also have an offers and discounts pages. An offer and discounts page that can really teach you everything you need to know about the benefits of Navy Fed membership, including the low fees and great rates to exclusive member perks and financial tools and products. So that's really fantastic. Okay. Now, if you want to really kick off your Navy Fed application today, you will need the following documents and information. So they want your social, so your social security number. That's the first thing they want. They also want to have your driver's license or government ID. In some cases, they will accept your passport or even your DoD ID. So if you have a military ID, they'll accept that. They will accept it too. They want to see your current home address. So that's something that they want to really see. And they want to see credit card or bank account and routing number to fund your account. So that's really important. And you will need this for any joint owners you would like to add. Okay. Now, a membership savings account with a $5 minimum balance is required to establish and maintain membership. So if you are going to go through that, you want to make sure that you have all the data ready. Okay. But the thing is that the application itself will probably take about 5 minutes. Sometimes it'll take let's say 3 minutes, but on average, if you want to be safe, just block 5 minutes out of your time and just sit on your computer and just get things done. Or you can just go to a Navy Fed agency, a Navy Fed branch, and they'll just speed up the process for you real fast. So that's really fantastic. One thing, if you want to join Navy Fed without being military, once you pass actually the membership phase, they are really fast in terms of sending you a debit card. Okay, so what happens here is that if you open your checking account online or over the phone, Navy Fed will mail you a debit card to the address listed on your application within 1 day. So that's why they are really fast. I mean, other credit unions will wait for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 days, but NFCU will do it within 24 hours. Okay. Now, actual delivery of the card depends on postal service in your area. So if you are, let's say, in the city, that's fine. If you are in a rural area, it could take 2 or 3 days. You can also open a checking account in a branch and receive your debit card while you're there. This is actually better if you live close to a Navy Fed branch. Okay, and so once you receive your debit card, if you want to really kick off your membership big time and real fast, you want to activate your debit card. So there is a number that you have to call. So it's 1-888-842-6328. So that's the number you have to call. Again, the number is 1-888-842-6328. Or you can sign into your account via digital banking. And that's actually how you can activate your card, okay? And you can also add funds to your savings account. Remember, you will need let's say in the preliminary stage, you will need $5 to actually open your savings account. Okay, but once you have everything ready, you can actually add more money if you want to. And you can also, the good thing about Navy Fed is that this is a full service institution. So you can open savings account, you can open checkings account, you can checking account, you can even open investment accounts. Okay, and so you are able to have access to other tools that Navy Fed has for our members. For instance, they have something called bill pay, so you never really miss a payment. Okay, so that's really cool. You can easily transfer money to another member. So if you are transferring money to non-members, Zelle makes it very simple too. Okay, and Navy Fed is part of Zelle, so that's really fantastic. And you can quickly deposit checks into your account safely and securely with mobile deposits. So again, what I'm trying to say here is that you have a full service institution that has all the amenities you would expect at a big bank or at a big credit union. So if you want to join Navy Federal Credit Union without being military, I also want to talk to you about joint ownership because there is a possibility where you just, like to open your account, you feel like, you know what, I don't want to go solo. I want to go with my spouse or with my roommate or with my relative, whatever, okay, with my family member. So you are able to add a joint owner to your account. All you have to do, you and the other person need to visit a branch together. You gotta go together. You can't do this remotely. You gotta really do it face to face because Navy Fed needs to validate the identity of the joint owner and start the enrollment process. Now, if that person is not available, you can initially open your account as an individual and then request an application to add them later. So flexibility is there. So you don't have to do things the same day. Okay, and you can have up to three joint owners on each of your savings or checking accounts. So only three, maximum three. Okay, and one thing for sure, you have to understand that basically joint owners are not considered members of Navy Federal. Okay, what happens here is that a joint owner shares access to your account, but is not necessarily a member of Navy Fed. So if you want to join Navy Fed, if you want a joint owner to be Navy Fed, sort of like to bank with Navy Fed without being military, this is a good strategy. Okay, joint owner to become a member, you or one of your family or household members must have ties to the armed forces, DoD, or National Guard. Okay, it has to be military. Now, what does joint ownership with survivorship mean? Well, joint ownership with survivorship means that if one of the owners of the account dies, the surviving owner will actually inherit their share. So this is pretty straightforward, okay? And without survivorship, their share will pass on to their estates or heirs instead of to the surviving owner. So that's something to really think about. So if you are interested in knowing more about joint ownership at NFCU, you can really call the same number I gave you, 1-888-842-6328. 1-888-842-6328. So in closing remarks into this conversation, I explained to you how to join Navy Fed without being military. So I spoke about the eligibility, how to get started, the joint ownership, and the closing remarks. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.